Well, good morning, everybody. Everybody up, ready, excited? Folks go and meet with the board this morning, have breakfast with the board. Anybody do that? Yeah, few? Okay, good. Thank you. I was not there. I apologize for my absence. Todd Moore, IBM's Director for Open Technologies and Partnerships. What that really means is I have a lot of folks who work for me who do open source code, who are working in OpenStack, Cloud Foundry, Cordova, other projects out around the industry. And I also get to go out and work with folks who are looking to go and start things up as well too, to build other communities, to build partnerships, to help continue to build out the open ecosystem. Right? It's all about the partnerships and the ecosystems that we build these days. Bit of background. I guess one of my employees probably framed it really well recently. She called me a nerd with cowboy boots. So yes, I have my cowboy boots on again. I put on a clean pair of jeans to go with today as well too. So I come from Austin, Texas, and I work out of there, but I spend most of my time, it seems these days, either on one coast or the other. What I'm going to talk to you a little bit about today is sort of set up the tracks that will follow from various IBMers who are here in the room who will be speaking. And we're very engaged in the community and like to get out and spend time with the rest of the folks who are working with us in the community as well as with our users. So hopefully we've got a good mix of both users and folks participating with us here. So where did all this start? We've been out painting this picture, this landscape of open. And what really attracted us here into OpenStack was the fact that, and it stopped working. Okay. In the beginning, there was a green light that went to red. Really started with, customer and user needs. We liked what was happening here in the community. We liked the involvement that the user community had, the feedback that we were getting out of it, the fact that people will come here to this conference and spend their time and be alongside the various developers who are here designing the next version of OpenStack is just exciting to us. That's, I think, the way to build a good ecosystem and have tight feedback and have real involvement. And a lot of our users actually contribute code now as well too. So it's exciting to see that come together. And the reason it's exciting, we'll try to hit the enter button this time and make it go forward. Nope. Is that we survey large companies very often in IBM to see what's on the minds of their CEOs. And we've been doing this very consistently for a number of years, so we've got real data that goes back in time with consistent questions. And the thing that we've seen through the years is that technology was sort of before and afterthought. People didn't really think of it as anything more than a utility. You had to keep it up and running. Don't worry about it, right? And as time has gone on and people have started to adopt agile techniques, to adopt cloud technologies, what we've seen is progressively the rate and pace of change is happening to the point where the CEO has taken notice. He realizes that his entire business is now dependent on his IT infrastructure, his future offerings that he's out placing into the marketplace that his competitors are, of course, moving at the speed of light around him with, are also dependent on that. And suddenly, technology factors are now the thing that are most likely to be on his radar screen. And what we've seen is the successful enterprises, the ones who are out there making way faster than their competitors, are depending on strategic reinvention using technologies such as the cloud and OpenStack, right? And they're far more likely, you can look at the stats, to be using those leading edge technologies if they're successful. So this is something that, of course, led us all to start looking at technologies such as OpenStack because, I'll just hit the button since it takes so long, because we need innovation, right? To fuel that, to meet the rate and pace, the change that's happening, innovation's required. The old days, it would take us tremendous amount of time to first requisition a server, then get it set up, then provision it, get your applications over on it, get going, right? Weeks, months sometimes spent in that cycle of begging the IT department on how do I go and get something going. And that infrastructure was, of course, costly and expensive and tightly controlled by the gatekeepers. But to meet the rate and pace, what we've adopted is really a cloud architecture, right? One that enables DevOps, allows developers to move much faster, breaks down the walls, the silos that exist between design and operations and move things along. So as we've looked at it, and as we've listened to what our users and our customers have said, we've sort of stratified it into 3 areas of focus. And we've developed what we believe is an open cloud architecture. Because consistently what we've heard is that we want flexibility, we don't want vendor lock-in, we want interoperability across the clouds, we want to be able to burst workloads out there. Sometimes we want to have it all on premise, you know, we're maybe a financial institution who's very conservative, and sometimes we want to make use of just compute nodes that exist someplace because we need to satisfy some analytical workload. So for us, looking at those layers, looking at infrastructure first, OpenStack was the first logical choice out there. Not that it necessarily had the better technology at that time, but it had the better ecosystem. It had the users, the community, and as you'll see in some of the further charts, it had folks who were willing to really put an effort into it, commit, make it better, and build up partnerships. So OpenStack has really dominated that infrastructure as a service layer. And I'll show that a little more. Then at the platform as a service layer, at the layer where you want application developers to be able to build an app without knowing anything really about what's down underneath it for the infrastructure, there's a few options that are building out there. We've placed a bet on Cloud Foundry. A number of our partners around the OpenStack community are doing that with us, and we're pretty excited about the opportunity that goes and brings. So Cloud Foundry has, you know, again, sort of hit the radar screens, and we see moving its way up into the open world. Of course, at the top layer, at the application layer, where the API economy is building these days, IBM invests in lots of technologies, whether it's, you know, in JSON or HTML5, where we co-chair that working group at the W3C, or technologies like OAuth. For authentication, you know, these are just moving the web along, and we're out there working and building and part of those communities as well too. So together you sort of have this constellation of technologies, open technologies, that can sort of fuel the web and move it along. Of course, these communities need to move with real velocity. And it's surprising when you see something move with real velocity, right? They've got to keep up with the rate and pace of business, right? So what about our own little community here, OpenStack? OpenStack has just been a phenomenon. I don't think we've seen a community move along as fast as the OpenStack community has. So this is sort of tracing the lines of code as they've moved up, and I think the last release on there was the Havana release, of course. ICEHOUSE is here. You know, we're millions of lines of code, from a humble beginning of 44,000 lines of code in just a few years here, through a 6-month cycle, release cycles. No other community has gone and built something as quickly and as cohesively as we have here. We're a very friendly community. You come, you participate. We take everybody's input. If your patch isn't quite up to standards, people will help you along generally with it. We're not a community that just bashes the folks who come and want to contribute. And I think that in itself has also been one of the contributing factors to moving things along. We're over 1,000 countries now, all those red dots on the map, I think or 1,000 cities, I'm sorry. Just phenomenal in growth, 355 companies. Almost 10% of the traffic that's coming into us now is coming in out of India, as an example. So, and Jonathan talked about a lot of these stats. But it's just phenomenal, right? So we have a community that can keep up with business speed, rate, and pace. It can deliver on 6-month cycles, and each release consistently gets better and better and better. And working with our friends, we're doing that. We're all in this together, and we're putting in significant contributions as that moves along, and I'll talk about that. So ICEHOUSE, right? April 17th, ICEHOUSE delivery, right? And visitors are welcome, right? I like this picture because of that. As I said, the community's friendly. Our website is very active. They're in just one quarter, 1 million visitors to our website. That's the kind of traffic that we're doing here in one quarter. Very substantial. So, how is this actually delivering now? Come up? Okay. Well, 32% more contributors since our last release, fairly significant. 2,900 bugs fixed. 16 languages now. Just amazing. By the way, IBM contributed 9 of those translations out there, the top tier ones. So, places where we find gaps or that needs work, you'll find our team in there working, helping, contributing. 288% growth in individual members. We're over 16,000 members here in the community, and I am just so proud of that. I've been around since we started building this foundation and putting it together. I worked with the Rackspace team to identify how we could build out the foundation, learn from other organizations that we've been part of over the years, and then just go and make it happen. So, I'm on the board. I'm kind of known as the adult in the room, right? I've had the history, helped shape the discussion and head us in where we go. And I'm just incredibly proud of what has happened here as a result of that. And I don't think there's any question anymore, getting back to the record theme, right? That we've gone platinum with our membership and our commits and the work that we do. OpenStack is the top blue line on all of these. And what we've done is we've looked at community activity, right? Objective things that you can go out and see by looking at the forums and looking at what's happening out there with contributions, right? Our population, our accumulated community population, through the roof. Our developer population, through the roof, over 2,000. Our contributing organizations, through the roof. What happens on a monthly basis, through the roof, right? This is the kind of activity that you, who have all come together to be part of the community, are helping us go and drive and contribute to. And I can't thank you enough on this. It's just astounding. Okay, so the IBM commitment, the IBM contributions into this. What's important to us? There's a lot of things listed here, but let me pick on things that I'm interested in. High availability, right? One of the things that always worried me when I was out building clusters was the problem of having one of the hosts sort of just become damaged, Not that he was dropped dead and stopped working, that he, was a little kid with crayons scribbling all over the paper, right? And it was scribbling all over storage or scribbling all over memory, right? So, how do you fix that? Well, you put in, mechanisms to go and identify and stop and access to things like storage, and you then create the new instance and get it up and going and moving. So, you look at HA, those are the kinds of technologies that IBM's putting in here. Let's see. Security granularity for host aggregation. What is that? Sometimes people like to group hosts, and they don't want to have all the permissions to be exactly the same around those. Test, production, development, right? We don't necessarily want to have everybody have the same privileges around that, do we? Those kinds of functions are things that we're out putting into there. Of course, I'll let Brad talk about some of the things that we've done with OAuth and enhancements into Keystone. But security, availability, high availability, making the lives of our operators easier, those are the kinds of things that we're contributing and putting into the OpenStack community with real IBM contributions. Okay. The IBM Open Cloud, and I think we're doing okay on time. We're maybe a little bit late. Up and down that stack, we're living that open message that I showed at the beginning. Right? We have open technologies at the lowest layers, both for on-prem and off-prem. In the middle layers where we're deploying applications, orchestrating those applications, making sure that very complex things like an SAP installation can be delivered onto a platform through technologies like Tosca. And we're using that work that we've done out in standards with others, a lot of the folks who are also part of the OpenStack community, to make sure that we have a consistent way of doing things like that on our platforms and across platforms. And as we move up the layers, we're again infusing, open technologies at each level to go and make sure there's interoperability and depth. Okay, so I'm going to ask Brad Topol to come up and talk a bit about a demo that he gave earlier, just because I liked it. It's only a couple of minutes. It'll be real short, and then I'll continue with the other topics that IBM is going to talk about today. So Brad, come on up here.
Okay, well, let me just set it up for a minute. So cloud auditing. Hopefully you all saw during one of the keynotes when we had Glenn Ferguson from Wells Fargo, and he mentioned the need for compliance. One of the ways you get compliance is having very solid auditing support. Auditing, enterprises expect you to have auditing support. Your customers expect to be able to audit and verify that unauthorized access to their data and resources is not occurring. So putting that all together, one of the things we've driven into OpenStack, and it's available in ICEHOUSE for everyone, is a standard-based auditing support. And how we do our standards these days is pretty cool. What we do is we take the standard to the OpenStack community. They throw a lot of tomatoes at it. The standards guys go off and cry for a while and get their Kleenex. Then they come back and they iterate on the standard and they get it to the point where the OpenStack community likes it. And then the result of that is a very relevant standard. And so when you have something like standard auditing, you can now start using standard tools. And tools that'll work, and your stuff will now work in any OpenStack environment. There's no vendor lock-in when it comes to auditing. When you do hybrid cloud and you're using different environments, it'll all use the standard audit format, which is tremendous benefit to our customers. And so one of the things we're going to show today is a tool that can take these audit events that are coming out of OpenStack, just configure it, and they start generating it. And it is a security tool to help you track when bad things are happening. And so the bad thing that's going to happen is you've got a disgruntled person who's going to go off in a very short amount of time and rapidly kill a lot of application instances. So I wanted to thank you, Todd, start the demo. I pray that it works. So this is the OpenStack dashboard. Yeah, please go ahead. Okay, so this OpenStack dashboard, and somebody's going to log in, and they're going to very rapidly start finding these application instances because they had access on their last day of work and start destroying them, leaving their mark. And while this is happening, events are being generated by OpenStack, these CADF standard events, very easy to parse and very easy to do analysis on. They're all flowing to an IBM product called QRadar. It's a security event information tool. And here are all the events. You're seeing it in QRadar. A lot of these events are, a server was delete, a specified server was succeeded. And so you can take a look at these events, and very quickly here, we're going to go off to the dashboard for QRadar. If you look at QRadar, you'll see that there are the notifications. Hey, these are the events that are happening, specified server. And you'll see that these are a severe offense. We have a trigger in the product that says if you see this happening, that's considered a moderately severe offense, and you can go click on the offense. So we'll give it a minute here to go ahead and click on the offense. And here you can see the severity of the offense. You scroll down a little bit. You can also see which user was the jerk, right? There's the list of the events as well. And, what will happen here is basically it, but you're able to see what's happening in your environment. You have it all tracked, and that's our demo.
Thank you, Brad. And let me see if I can get out of this now. There we go. Okay. So, I wanted folks to see that, to see the power of the type of investments that are being made into the infrastructure now. Brad's chart. We'll go one more. And I think notifications weren't there. It was something that we saw the need to go and do and build in, and now we're all able to take advantage of it. I use the example with QRadar, obviously our product tied together with it, but this will apply to anybody who wants to take advantage of standard notifications that are there. So it's one of the exciting things that actually are in the monitoring, in Ceilometer, in the types of tools that we're putting together to make available to you. Okay. Wish the clicker worked. Okay, so we're going to have a few sessions at 9:50, not too long from now. Doing great on time. You guys will get a little break in between, maybe. Tammy Van Hoven, one of our distinguished engineers. Tammy, say hi. There's Tammy. Will talk to us about work that we're doing out of our System and Technology group, STG, on various technologies and how OpenStack plays a role across our product set. Something that IBM has made a very large, significant investment in is OpenStack everywhere. We have a common set of code that all of the IBM teams get to pick up and use, that we develop together with the community code that's being done, with that stack then being hardened and given to our teams to work on. Hardened in the sense that it meets the IBM sort of standards around how we have software distributed inside. And then, she'll talk about things that are going on in compute, storage, and network, some of the extensions and REST API work that's going on there, as well as automation work that we've got going on in process automation. So please hang around for Tammy. And some of the exciting news, of course, was Ubuntu on Power 8 that we announced. I don't know if you've been to the booth to see the hardware and talk a little bit with the folks there. That in our booth has been the most exciting and popular demonstration that we have going on, and it's really just hardware and a discussion that you can have. But very excited with that. Yes. The different things. Yeah, we'll talk about it. Okay, so actually Andrew will be talking about Smart Cloud Orchestrator, and we'll get to that. Oh, come on. Okay, so with this chart, what the hell is going on? So Andrew Trossman, our distinguished engineer in the back here, Andrew will be talking about Smart Cloud Orchestrator. So, in the past, our systems were like pets, right? We knew them, we loved them, they fell over, we cared for them, we made sure they were pampered and fed, and everything was wonderful, and you never wanted your, pretty little kitty system to die on you, right? You had to keep it available and up all the time, and, those were the important things. And you really took care of your poor pet, So the analogy these days is that systems are like cattle, right? We in the cloud world, you can stand things up in such short order that availability no longer depends on keeping the poor little kitty alive and well all the time, right? It really depends on how fast you can go and stop and restart things. So, systems are more like cattle. You can have lots and lots of them. It doesn't matter. They're no longer pets. No care and feeding. You need another one, you just add it and grow it. You don't like it, you shoot it, and it's gone. It kind of goes with the cowboy theme, I guess. So within IBM, we have technology that we place around OpenStack. Our orchestrator product is one of those. With it, you obviously can do deployments and take advantage of course, the OpenStack APIs and the work that's been done there. But then, sometimes you really need to manage the installation in a way with orchestration and do it with tools that visually allow you to understand what's happening in the flows and the timing and the events. And Andrew will talk to you about how the orchestrator product then goes and works. So obviously he's very creative in his charts. I asked everybody to give me a chart, and Andrew was clearly the most creative. Thank you, Andrew. So, Michael Fork, where are you, Michael? I knew you were here. I saw you. There he is, Michael Fork. So, at 11:50, Michael's going to talk to you a little bit about what we're doing with SoftLayer and OpenStack. Where's the future going? How are the things that we've done and launched into the SoftLayer environment working? Are you going to talk at all about Cloud Foundry on top of OpenStack at all, or not in this time? No, not in any depth. Okay, great, thank you. So if you're very interested in what we're doing in our own public clouds and are around at 11:50, you'll get a chance to hear quite a bit more detail and give some questions into Michael. Okay, so our band has been growing. I'll give a little plug to Cloud Foundry at this point too. We're seeing the same kind of trajectory as the early days now of OpenStack, where people got behind the project and decided to put commitment into it and code and people and partners. We did our initial announcement that we had our platinum partners together that we're going to go and build out Cloud Foundry. Since then, we've filled all the gold seats, and we've got a whole pile of gold members, a couple more. I don't think they're even listed on here yet. And there's another class of silver members by the time I think we get to the point where we have our foundation stood up. We'll have 30 or 40 more silver members in behind this. Very exciting to see people come together, understand the value at the PaaS layer, and start to invest there. So our expectation is, this is the next space to really go and watch as we go and build up infrastructure around OpenStack. Individual contributions here, just like an OpenStack, growing very quickly. So what's it do for us? IBM has built a product we call Bluemix. It's in beta. And the idea here is that your developer doesn't need to know anything about what's going on down underneath, right? That they're able to, with lightning speed, in a day, take services that are there, use the build packs that are there to essentially go and quickly hook together an application and get things moving. And be able to then expand and scale in that same space. So if you haven't seen the demo, you can come down to the booth, look at that. But also, as I look at this, the best way to get involved is to go actually participate in the trial. The beta is out there. For those of you in the room who are interested in mobile technologies, the Bluemix environment contains also a set of mobile SDKs that allow you to then build up your mobile applications. So there's server-side code, JavaScript, as well as client-side JavaScript. It uses, again, open technologies at its root. In the product, it's based on the Cordova work that's done out at Apache. And that allows you to essentially code up and take advantage of the native platform capabilities of iOS devices, of Android devices, of BlackBerry devices, of Microsoft devices, Palm devices, right? All those things maintained in one community, and as the operating systems improve, change, patch, that community, as a group, keeps up with that and makes it available to everybody. So again, open technologies are in behind even our mobile work that's going on here in Bluemix. So go to bluemix.net, you can join the beta, and get involved and try it for yourself. If not, if you want to just take a look, please come down to the booth. You can also go down there and sign up for the beta as well too. So let's see, a couple more things. almost done. IBM sessions and demos. So there's been many sessions and demos and things that we've done. There's a whole timetable of demos down at the booth. You can please just come down and visit, take a look, and if there's something there that you'd like to see and you're not going to be able to be there at some time slot, ask one of the booth personnel and they can arrange a demo for you as well too. We try to be flexible. The Oculus Rift is also down there, so if you put it on, and see, Chris left, I was going to make fun of him. There's a few games in there that you can look at and see, and you're immersed in this 3D environment. And Chris Ferris, one of our DEs here, he put it on, and he was going up in a roller coaster, and he leaned back, and he fell down on the ground. It was quite funny to go and watch. And we have video of it, and we're going to place it out on YouTube. But so come down, join it, take a look at it. It's a lot of fun and good to see. So there are some more technical sessions that are still left in for the week. At the top, one of the things that we've seen is people, pick up OpenStack code and then they can't quite figure out how to put it together in something large and complex and highly available. Usually what you see out there in the web and searching through Google are instructions really how to build a small developer cluster, right? Nothing huge. So the technical team is taking a look at that. How do we go off and build highly available, really performant systems? So that's going to be on here as one of our technical things. Federated identity, federated service provider work. Brad, I believe you'll be in part of that as well. Policy abstractions in Neutron. Again, these are on Thursday. Hybrid clouds with OpenStack, bridging the two worlds. And of course, we're doing a lot of work in the HEAT project, working with another open standard, Tosca, that comes out of Oasis, to then use that to drive interoperability across multiple communities, whether it's HEAT or Juju or other frameworks that come around. So it's kind of exciting to see what's happening in HEAT, and the translator project is one of the ways we're doing that. So, thank you very much. I appreciate your time. Again, stop by, say hi to us all. Many of the team are here right now, but we'll have more folks at the booth. If you're looking for more information on some of these technologies I talked about, OpenStack.org, obviously we all know, right? CloudFoundry.org, of course, IBM's Smart Cloud Technologies, our orchestrator technology, et cetera. These charts will be available, so you'll be able to use the shortened link and go and find out more information in behind it. So that was what I had. Where sessions will start in just a little bit here. Give everybody a chance to stand up, take a stretch, look around, invite some friends over, Twitter a little bit. I know you all got your devices out. We're all set. And we'll get right back to it in just a little bit here. So thank you. About 10 minutes, guys.